Hey everyone, welcome back. My name's Dustin Kreis, and today we are going to do a game discussion, and we're going to talk about this game right here, Destiny, the Taken King, brought to us by those crazy kids at Bungie, and unfortunately Activision, one of the companies I really don't like anymore. But they did alright with this game. It doesn't seem like they really intervened too much into it. There's not a whole lot of microtransactions that it kind of forces you into. So, I can kind of give Activision a little bit of a pass. They're one of those companies that when I see their name on a game nowadays, I kind of cringe a little bit. But my good buddy Chance got me this for Christmas, and Destiny was a game that when it was first announced way back in the day, I was really excited for it. I remember watching I think it was the PS4 announcement way back in the day when they were talking about Destiny and how hyped I was for it. And then as it came out and the reviews were kind of lackluster about it, I kind of lost interest in it. And then with The Taken King, the reviews were really good, and they said that they fixed a lot of the problems with Destiny. So I really wanted to get it, and Chance got it for me for the Secret Santa this year. And I gotta tell you guys, I had a really amazing time with Destiny. Really enjoyed my time with it. I'm a big Halo fan. I like Halo a lot. Even though I'm a big RPG person, I still like to do first-person shooters every now and then. And Halo was one of those games. I mean, I bought an original Xbox for Halo. That and Morrowind, but mostly Halo. And really had a great time with that series. And, I bought a PS4 this generation. And I don't really think I'm going to buy an Xbox One. I don't really feel a point to buying an Xbox One also. And it always kind of stung with me because, of course, Halo is going to continue on the Xbox One, and I was not going to get to play my Halo games anymore. But Destiny really scratched that itch, and I really actually found myself enjoying online multiplayer RPG gaming. If you guys remember back when I played Final Fantasy XIV, it wasn't... I didn't really enjoy my time with it. And I think the thing is when I play an RPG, I like to take my time and do my thing, and other people want to do their thing, and I want to do my thing, and it just never really congeals gameplay wise. Whereas with Destiny, it's all about those missions. It's all about the strikes. It's all about getting that next piece of loot, and not so much like with Final Fantasy XIV. Well, I want to go do this thing, and this person wants to go do this thing. I mean, it seemed like it was a lot easier to agree on doing things in Destiny than it was in Final Fantasy XIV, which is probably why I had a better time playing with people than I did in the other game. But yeah, I really had a great time with it. This is the game that if I was to put it in my Games of 2015 video, because I hadn't shot the video yet, and I started to play this before I made the video, and I was kind of going back and forth whether to include it or not. But this was really pushing up the list, and this probably would have been easily top 5. I don't know about beating Fallout 4, but it definitely would have been the top 5. It would have made the top 5 a lot harder to finalize. We'll put it that way. But I'm getting to the end of the game. The only thing I really have are just like repeating strikes and finding 6 people to do raids, and just pushing my light level up past getting as close as I can to the 320. And really, when it gets to that point, I do start losing interest in the game. So I don't know. Bungie kind of said that they aren't planning on doing any more expansions, and they are working on Destiny 2. So I might just, stop playing for a while, wait for Destiny 2 to come out, and then import my character to Destiny 2 and continue on from there. But really, really, really great time. Um, Much like Halo, Destiny does have a really good story with some interesting lore. Unfortunately, because of the type of game it is, with it being an online, massively multiplayer game, um, some of it gets lost. Some of it gets lost because you do missions out of order. Like, I was doing missions that told me a major character was dead, when in fact I still haven't even killed that character yet, but because I continued on to the Taken King missions, it just assumed that that character was dealt with. Um, so that's kind of always a weird thing with these style of games, is that the storylines get a little muddled. Other times, while NPCs and things are talking, you're either moving through the menu way too fast just to get your engrams decoded or something, or you're talking to somebody else you're playing with and you're not really paying attention to the cutscenes. And that's always one of the problems I have with these massive multiplayer games like Final Fantasy XIV. Steven and I would just skip cutscenes, and it's like, oh, I'll go back and watch those. I'll go back and watch those. Still haven't gone back and watched any of them. So that's the only problem with these style of games. And it does have interesting lore. Like Mankind had this golden age of prosperity, and we pushed forth out into the solar system, and then all of a sudden this ancient evil awoke, and it's called the Darkness, and kind of knocked us out of our golden age and basically wiped out humanity, all except for this one little city on Earth that was protected by this huge orb that is not really orbiting Earth, but it's kind of just resting on Earth, called the Traveler, and it protected this small city. And then as mankind has pushed back out from what's called the Last City, we've discovered some not so nice alien races have taken a foothold on our old territory. Mars, Venus, the rings of Saturn, the moon. Some really nice locations you go to. But again, as you do these missions over and over again, you do kind of get sick of seeing the same locations over and over again. And I can't tell you how many times I've gone through Venus on a patrol just to like level up certain things or search for a certain component, or the Cosmodrome on Earth, and just how kind of sick you get of seeing the same locations over and over again. But the levels are very large, are very varied. A lot of different enemy formations and things like that, and it really sells the ruined aspect of humanity in those different levels. But while the story is good and the lore is good, and the Taken King really kind of introduced a bit more storyline to it, because even when I was playing the normal vanilla Destiny before I started into the Taken King missions, there was story there, but it was very kind of vague and short. But then you get to the Taken King, and it seems like they made a much more concerned effort as to making an actual narrative for that expansion. But yeah, I mean, storyline wise, I liked everything I saw. I just wish I would have gotten to experience more of it, I guess. But you'll have that with the style of game. Gameplay wise, take everything you love about Halo and turn it into an online cooperative experience. And man, I got super addicted to just upgrading equipment, getting that new piece of loot, getting those rare engrams and taking them back and decoding them, seeing what you got, upgrading weapons just to dismantle them to get weapon parts and motes of light. It's an addictive game, especially if you like your Bungie style first-person shooters. I had a blast. I played a couple games with Steven and Alex. I played a lot with a local friend of mine here. And you just have a really good time doing it. I didn't do any of the Crucible, which is the PvP section of the game, because I just don't really feel like I need to get into that level of frustration, because I was never really a deathmatch style person. I just, it was never really my thing. So the mere fact that you can just skip all of that, although I have some quests that are Crucible related that I should really, I guess I should attempt sometime, and maybe I will, because this is a game that, even though I've kind of stopped playing it heavily, I still throw it in every now and then for a couple hours and just see what I can get done. But you have a lot of different things. You have story missions, which progress the storyline, of course. And then you start getting into things like strikes, which are a bit like a story mission. But you need to have a fire team. And the great thing about this is like the story missions you can solo, okay? And that's most of the story missions I did solo. The strikes, you'll need a fire team. And if you don't have any people that are actively playing it right now, it's okay, because the game will matchmake for you. So you'll draw in 2 other guardians. And I did a lot of strikes that way. And surprisingly, it works really well. And then you get into what's called the raids. And the raids require a lot more coordination among your teammates. I tried to do... I'm level 40 with a light level of like 259 right now. And I tried to do the Crota raid, which is a level 30 raid. I tried to solo it because one of my friends here said, "Oh yeah, you could solo that by now. I mean, you should be completely able to solo that." And you get in there and you start seeing that, what you have to do, which is kind of in the beginning fight off an endless wave of enemies while using these pillars to keep the darkness from slowing you down. It requires a lot of coordination with other people, and honestly, I could probably do it with 1 or 2 other people. But soloing it, unless I just start booking it through the stage and hope for the best, I don't really think that's going to happen. But I guess we can see. But and then that's really it. And then like the difficulties ramp up. You have like heroic strikes and heroic raids, and it's all about getting that loot and upgrading the loot and making your character stronger and getting that light level up so you can handle all the different more challenging raids. And then there's like Nightfall strikes and Kingfall raids and things like that. And while there's a lot to do in the post game, it's kind of one of those things where it feels like you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. And eventually you do start to fatigue on it, and I am starting to fatigue on Destiny. But again, like I say, every now and then I'll throw it back in for a couple hours and do a little bit here, do a little bit there, and still have a good time. Let's see, let's go with graphics. I actually think this is graphically a very gorgeous game. I really have no problem with it. Is it as stunning as maybe Killzone was back when I first played Killzone? No, it's not as visually mind-blowing. Same way that Halo was never really visually mind-blowing, but everything works together seamlessly, and I didn't really notice like any graphical hiccups or any some of my friends kind of noticed some glitches here and there, but I never really saw anything completely glitch out. But it's a what is it now, a year-old game, maybe 2 years old. It's not going to push things as much as modern games do, but at the same time, it still looks amazing. It runs silky smooth. Really just absolutely no problem at all with the graphical stylings of this game. I like the designs of everything. Every piece of armor and that you put on, everything looks completely badass. Like there's no... Sometimes in these RPGs, you'll put on armor, and it's really good armor, and then you look at your character and like, you look like a fucking moron. You never have that in Destiny. Everyone, I mean, they always look, to me anyway, for my personal aesthetics, they always look really badass, and I really like the look of all the armor and everything. And it's such a weird thing because Master Chief's armor was such a like an iconic thing. You would think like Bungie, lightning would never strike twice in a you know what I mean? And the looks of these guardians and just walking around the tower and seeing everybody's get ups, it kind of does make you want to go out and get better stuff so you look cooler while walking around. But well. Finally, for the music, I believe Marty O'Donnell, if I remember that's his name correctly, of the Halo fame, did the music for this. And then, of course, they fired him, which there's probably some big behind-the-scenes thing to do with all that. But the music is really good. I really enjoyed all the tracks. Although, like I said, a lot of times with these games, I'm talking to people and not really paying attention to the music all that much. But from what I do remember, I did enjoy all the music in The Taken King. The voice acting is really good. And I heard, since I bought the Taken King version, I don't have, which I can never say his last name, but he's Tyrion in Game of Thrones. Peter Dinklage, I think his last name is how you say it. Apparently, like, his performance was just abysmal as the Ghost in the original version of Destiny. They replaced him with Nolan North, and you hear Nolan North in every video game that comes out. So, while it's a very good performance, you kind of get that been there, seen that kind of feeling to it. The hero of the voice acting of this game is Nathan Fillion playing Cade. And once I got to the Taken King and he started hanging around in the tower and telling me things, like, and you start hearing Nathan Fillion talking to you about doing all this stuff, and it's his usual, Captain Mao, way of talking and just being irreverent and, a smart ass. It really did add a lot to my enjoyment of the game, and maybe it's just because I desperately want Firefly to come back in some form other than comic books. But we're 10 years out now from the move from Serenity. I think it's been 10 years. God, it's been so long. I really don't think we're going to see those kids again, but never say never. But yeah, I mean, I really don't know what to say about Destiny. I think the people who were interested in Destiny, I think they gave it a shot already, and they probably either like it or hate it. I don't think there's very many people out there that need convincing to play this. But if you're like me and you went Sony this generation, and you're still missing that Halo gameplay, pick this up. Pick it up now, because it takes everything that was great about Halo and just RPGs it. And for me personally, I can't think of anything better than that, to have that Halo-esque gameplay, and then also, oh look, I'm playing as a Master Chief and now I can upgrade him. Perfect. I love it. Absolutely love it. But just be advised that once you get done with the story missions and all that, the post-game stuff, unless you're really into running the same raids and same strikes over and over again, the post-game stuff gets a little thin for people like me. I don't know. I just want the storyline to continue, and I want, things like that. I can't keep doing the same levels and the same boss fights over and over and over again in the hopes that they drop something stronger than what I currently have. It's just, after a while, it gets a little disheartening when you have fought the same boss like 3 times and they still haven't dropped anything yet. So, but that's the name of the game with MMOs and things like that. So, for you loot hounds out there, much like Diablo, this is another one of those games where you can just, lose yourself in getting that next gun and powering that gun up and disassembling it to upgrade another gun, and things like that. So, for those types of people out there, this is a great game for you. I definitely feel like I got Chance's money worth out of it. And you know, if he didn't buy it for me, I probably would have bought it for myself, but I'm glad that he got it for me and I just got to experience it. And I'm looking forward to Destiny 2. And I don't know, we'll see if they do anything in between here in Destiny 2, but they've kind of said that they're not going to do another expansion. They're kind of focusing on the sequel, and I guess we'll go from there. If I remember correctly, I thought they said that like Destiny was going to be like a 10-year game, like they're just going to keep updating and updating and updating it. I don't know if it was Bungie really pushing for the sequel, or if Activision's like, oh no, we need another full game to sell. It's probably Activision. They probably got Activisioned. That's why Destiny 2 is coming. Because really, with a game like this, you don't really need to release a sequel. You can just keep doing things like the Taken King and just keep expanding the content. And that's what I don't understand with these style of games nowadays. Is like, why on earth would you need a Destiny 2? Just keep expanding this. It's like, why do they have to release a new Madden every year? Just release an update that updates the rosters, and you know, they don't have to do a yearly Madden game. They can do like one every 3 years. Just update the rosters, and you can even, this game proves that you can even update like gameplay tweaks and things like that through the patches. We don't need to be releasing yearly versions of games anymore. We don't need that anymore. We don't stop doing it. You're running your franchises into the ground. But that being said, I am looking forward to Destiny 2, even though it's obviously an Activision cash grab. But I'm sure it'll be a great game, and it's probably what Bungie was working on the next expansion anyway, and they're just putting a Destiny 2 on it because Activision. But anyway, enough about Activision. I'm sure there's people out there who like Activision. I just don't. But that is it for Destiny. A really great game. Glad I finally got to play it. And looking forward to playing more eventually. I'm going to put it up for a little bit, focus on some other things, and yeah. So anyway, guys, that is it for this episode. We are desperately trying to record an episode of the podcast this week. So keep your eyes peeled, because come hell or high water, there will be an episode of the podcast this week. At least from my standpoint. But yep, that is it. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.